As you settle into your seat, I want you to connect to your breath, feel it in your body. Imagine that as you breathe in, you can breathe all the way through from your nose down to your pelvic floor. And if you can't feel it, which would be kind of normal, right? Like imagine you can feel that breath moving through your body. And then when you breathe out, starting at your pelvic floor out through the nose. And many times you'll see me put my hands on my body, and I do this because it gives me a way to help feel that breath and the movement in my body. So if you want to do that, I invite you to do that as well. And scanning through your body and noticing how you're feeling and how you want to feel when we're done with our practice today. So setting your intention. And we will begin today, whenever you're ready, with tennis balls. I knew I had grabbed them. And we are actually going to start, and I'll show you two different ways to do this, but we're going to start on our backs with our knees bent. And so get yourself carefully onto your back, and you're going to take the two tennis balls and place them at the very top of your shoulders, so that you kind of push your body into the tennis balls. And you're noticing how that feels. And then if it sounds inviting, and you'll watch out for your hair that it doesn't get caught in the tennis balls, you're going to start to work your body over the tennis balls, but you're doing this very slowly so that you're letting your muscles sink in and around the tennis balls. And you're going to make sure that you stay off of your spine, right? So I'm still working at the top of the shoulders. Now, for some of us, depending on how firm your tennis balls are, as you start to make your way down the spine and you're staying off the spine, you're on either side of the spine, working your way down. You're going to stay where there's structure, so you never go below the rib cage. And for some of us, because of our body weight and gravity and the tension, it gets to be too much. So you could come to the wall and just use one tennis ball and work on your back body. So that's an option if it feels too much. And I definitely don't want you cringing, right? So if you're laying down there and you're, starting to move those tennis balls down your back body, staying off your spine, so you're on either side of the spine where your muscles are. Now, some of you might find a spot that feels really awesome, and you might start to take your arms out like angel arms, or inhale your arms a little bit up overhead, and just exploring and seeing what works for you. And you're breathing and softening your body around the tennis balls, moving your arms, deciding if this feels good for you. And even though we're talking about, doing an all-day tennis ball rolling class, we're not going to do that. But we are going to stop in about a minute. So you're exploring and deciding if any other part of your back body would enjoy the tennis balls. And then as you get to the lower part of your rib cage, you might, instead of moving your arms, you might move your knees from side to side. And you also might choose to just stay in one spot, like keep the tennis balls in one spot and just allow your body to soften around them, right? So total exploration, making sure nothing is too intense. pay attention to your breath, because your breath will tell you if you start to breathe really heavy, or, you know, just you can start to hear your breath, you probably need to back off. So that minute is coming to a close. So in your own time, I'm going to invite you to take those tennis balls out and just relax your body onto the floor. So the knees are still bent. And you feel how your back body feels on the floor, removing those tennis balls. You can set the tennis balls off to the side. We're going to do some movements down here on the floor for a moment. And what I want you to do is, with your pelvis, you're just going to move side to side. So a lot of times we move front to back, but now I want you to move left to right. So you're just kind of shifting your weight side to side, noticing how that feels in your body. And then we're going to pause and go. Now you'll do inhale, tilt your pubic bone up, exhale, tilt the pubic bone down, right? So now you're going front to back instead of side to side. And you're just letting your pelvis be heavy on the floor. We're not lifting it up off of the floor. And then again, we're going to pause, and now I want you to go towards the floor with your pubic bone, to the right, towards the back, to the left, and then come back to the center. So now you're doing like 4 points of touch, making, you know, moving your pelvis kind of in a circular fashion. And after a few times around, we'll pause with the pubic bone pointing down, and then we're going to go in the other direction. So the left side, then back, then right, and then back to the center and down. Just connecting and noticing how that feels to move through your pelvis in this way. And it might feel a little clunky at first, or not. And eventually we'll come to a place where we stop, and then one at a time, I want you to take your knees towards your chest, and we're going to bring those knees now in a circular motion a couple of times in each direction. So make sure you go both directions, and then we're going to stop with your femurs perpendicular to the ground, the lower legs parallel to the floor. Hands are pressing into your thighs. So our inhale is here. Exhale, and you're going to press isometrically, hands into thighs, thighs into hands. Exhale, knees in towards your chest. And the whole time, you're pressing your hands into your thighs. And so hopefully you can feel your core engaging as you do this movement. It's actually, it looks really easy. It's a lot of work. We're going to do it one more time. Then you might want to hug your knees in towards your chest before you release your feet to the floor one at a time. We're going to find a block. We're going to place the block between your knees. And so now your feet are on the floor, and you can use whichever width feels most comfortable for you. You're pressing into the center with your knees, and we're going to have our elbows at our sides and make fists with our hands. The inhale, you're going to press down with your feet, press down with your elbows, and lift your hips up. Exhale, come down to the floor. Press down with those elbows, lift your hips up. Your vision staying towards the ceiling. Of course, your eyes can be closed. And you're just inhaling up. Try to keep your feet flat on the floor. Use your feet, use your elbows, use your core. Just moving with your breath. Inhale up, exhale in. One more time. And the next time your hips are on the floor, check in with your breath, notice how you're feeling. We're gonna lift those knees up, so you're still holding onto the block, your lower legs are parallel to the floor, feet are flexed, arms out to the sides this time, and you're kind of pressing your hands into the ground for support. And you're gonna inhale, center, exhale, reach your knees towards your hand, right? Inhale back to the center, exhale, knees towards the hand. So there's a little shift in your hips because you're reaching those knees towards the hand. Now, if this is too much for you, you could absolutely do this with your feet on the floor and moving your knees side to side. There's always some modification that can work for you. And there's no rush, moving with your breath, noticing how your body feels as you move. So next time you finish both sides, we're gonna pause for a moment, still squeezing onto that block. And I want you to notice how you feel like in your inner thighs and the outside of your thighs and your hips as you press your knees into that block. And then you're gonna straighten out those legs. Some of you actually might like to keep them bent. We're gonna have the hands on the legs. And inhale is going to be down on the floor with your head and your upper body. Exhale, you're going to slide up those legs just a little bit. And if this hurts your neck or anything like that, you can move through the arms and engage the core without lifting the head. Next time you inhale, body on the floor, bend those legs, carefully take your feet down to the floor. We're going to take that block out and roll over to the side. And find those tennis balls because we're going to sit on up. I actually got a little warm doing it. I'm like, how am I getting warm doing it? It's work. Because it's work, right? So let's take those actually, let's do one. And what I want you to do is you're going to put it right into the center. So you lift up, you're not going to put your tennis ball under the bone. It's going in the meaty part of your buttock, and you're going to make your way over to the side. And I like to be on my elbow so I can help it press in the elbow and press with the feet to control the weight of the body going into that tennis ball. Remember, if it's too intense, you're going to stop. And there are lots of other things you could do with the tennis balls here if this doesn't feel good in your body, right? I wanted to loosen up around that pelvis a little bit. How did it feel, the rocking? Good? Felt some movement? We do it side to side. No, not me. Yeah, I agree. All right, now, again, I know we could stay here for a long, long time, but we're going to switch sides. So same thing, you're going to lift up your hip a little bit, place the tennis ball there, come down onto your elbow or onto a block. Breathe. Now, I want to stay here a little bit longer. I thought we might use a little bit of sound today in our movements. And of course, when we do that, it's always your choice if you want to make it in your head or out loud, or just listen. But when we're done with this, we're going to move our tennis balls off to the sides. We're going to come on to our knees. And so if you'd like a blanket under your knees, go ahead and place one there. So some of you will feel comfortable sitting on your heels, and some of you will prefer to start standing up. You're going to decide what is appropriate for you. And we're going to start with our hands at our heart center. So just take a moment to connect with your breath. And the sound that we're going to use is Om, because everybody knows that sound. So opening your mouth when you say the O, closing your mouth when you say the M, and we make the sound on the exhale. So inhale, we're going to reach for the sky. Exhale into child's pose, making the sound Om. Inhale up to tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, reach to the sky. And exhale, hands to the heart center. We'll do that one again. Tabletop. Reach for the sky. Now we're going to add on, but if you like what we just did and that feels good in your body, you're going to keep doing that and not add on. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, child's pose. Inhaling, tabletop. Exhaling, down dog. So turn your toes under. Inhaling, plank or up dog. Exhaling, down dog. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, reach for the sky. So I'm going to go through the longer version one more time, but if you prefer the shorter one, you're going to keep doing that. Tabletop. Down dog. Up dog or plank. Down dog. Tabletop. Child's pose. Reach for the sky. And hopefully you're noticing how your body feels in each of these movements and adjusting. I think we should do that one more time. So, long or short version, you decide. Inhale up. Tabletop. Down dog. Plank or up dog. Down dog. Tabletop. Child's pose. Inhale, reach for the sky. So from here, we're going to step forward with our right foot, and we'll keep that back knee on the ground, and you could have blocks under your hands. This is going to be a little bit of a different movement. I think some of you have done this with me before. We're going to take that front foot And then you're gonna start to move on to the pinky toe side of that back leg. And so then you're gonna reach that hip towards the ground. And if it's too much on your palm, you could have your elbow on a block. Too much? Weird? Figure out what works for your body. Keep breathing. And then we're going to come back to the center with both legs. And then let's straighten that front leg, come up onto your heel. And we're going to reach your body towards that leg. And you might want to inhale up, exhale body towards the leg. You might just want to keep your body towards that leg. You're going to keep breathing. And then very carefully bending that leg, we're going to bring it behind us, same leg. And you could be on your elbows here, on your hands. Now watch, so some of us get here and you kind of shift that leg across. Keep it behind your hip. We're going to bend that knee and press the heel up towards the sky. When you feel like you've had enough, you're going to bring that knee in towards your head. And now we're going to inhale, leg up, head up. Exhale, knee and head towards one another. Moving in a way that is appropriate for you, right? So you're making sure that it feels okay as you move. And next time that knee comes in, we're going to place it down on the ground. And we'll step forward with our left foot. And just staying here for a couple breaths, making sure that back knee is behind your hip. And you're still breathing, and we're going to turn your left foot out. And again, you might use a block under your elbow. You're going to shift to the pinky toe side of your right leg and bring that hip towards the ground. We want to be really careful here. So we're stretching the outside of the hip. You might feel it in some other places as well. No forcing. Continuing to breathe. And again, when you start to feel ready, we're going to shift everything back to the center. Straighten that front leg, come up onto your heel, point your toes up towards the sky. And again, either taking your body towards the leg or inhaling body up, exhaling towards your leg. It could be a teeny tiny movement, or a big movement, or no movement. Just moving your breath in and out, no matter what you're doing with your body. After that next exhale, again, we're going to sweep that leg behind us. And you're just kind of exploring, is that leg right behind you, did it shift over at an angle? Then you're going to bend the knee and press the foot up towards the sky. We have to work on our butts sometimes. And again, when you feel like you've had enough, we'll straighten out that leg. Inhale is going to be lifting the leg and the head. Exhale, head towards the knee. Moving with your breath. And next time your knee comes in, you're going to place it down on the ground. And let's come up and let's interlace those fingers. Just roll through your wrists a little bit, a couple times in each direction. Everybody's still with me, so. All right. From here, we're gonna come up to standing and roll our feet on tennis balls for just a moment. So when you get yourself up, just find one of your tennis balls. And this is a great time, you're like finding out what's going on in your feet, but you're also checking in with the rest of your body and your breath and how it's feeling. Interesting things. And then we're gonna switch to the second foot. Nobody said balance today. Are you open to some balance stuff? Maybe. Sure, we'll do it. Whatever you say.
We'll see.
We'll see.
See what it is, right?
That's right. See if I want to do it. All right. So, and I was thinking, so I want you to, and most of you can just pull to the side or to the back. I want you to find a space with a wall. Okay. And you don't even have to bring your mat, right? You're just gonna, and I want you to be about maybe a foot away, and some of you might want to move closer. I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see what I'm doing. So your feet are hip width apart, you feel your feet on the ground. We're gonna inhale, one arm up, turn your head away, and you're reaching that hand towards the wall behind you. So you actually have the wall to your back, like you're trying to touch the wall with your hand. And it doesn't matter if that hand touches, and then you exhale back to center. Change sides, alternating sides, thank you. You're looking away from the arm, the opposite arm. Yeah, your head turns in the opposite direction of the arm. We're going to do each side one more time. And then we're going to move, you're going to keep your head straight, and we're going to take both arms up towards the wall behind you. And again, it doesn't matter if they connect. And I want you to feel what happens in your rib cage as you do that. So notice what happens in your core and your rib cage as you extend your arms up overhead and towards the wall if your body works like that. And next time your arms come down, we're going to take the hands onto the thighs. Inhale, body up, exhale, slide down. And we're going to stay near the wall because I want to do one more thing there. But inhale up, exhale down. And if it feels better to just go halfway, you're going to do that. So always finding what works for you today. So, and I didn't tell you, but I'd love for you to have a block near your wall. And what we're going to do is you're going to have your right side towards the wall, and you're going to have the block by your right foot. And we're going to inhale up, exhale, slide down. You're going to place that right hand onto your block and step back with your left foot. You're going to keep that front knee over your ankle. And then we're going to explore lifting up that left leg and have that wall there so that you could possibly take your hip against the wall, and some of you could be in the center of the room here. You're going to open the hips and the shoulders and possibly lift that left arm up as well. So breathe and focus. You could also do this with your foot against the wall too, like with your body away from the wall. So many ways. Now let's bring that hand down to the hip. Close your hip
hips and shoulders, bend the front knee, come back into your lunge-like position, and then step that back foot forward, bring your hands onto your legs, and we're gonna inhale halfway up, and exhale in towards your legs. Let's do that a couple of times. Coming back to our center and our breath. Then we're gonna flip our body around. And so now you have the block kind of off to the side of your left foot. We're gonna inhale, body up, exhale, slide down, and place your left hand onto the block. And bring that right leg back. So again, you find your place in your, it's kind of like a warrior one position. And then, focused on your breath, we're gonna lift that back leg up. And you're checking out your balance the whole time, possibly opening up your hips and your shoulders, and possibly extending that right arm. And you find a comfortable place for your head. Now remember that hand that's on the block, your weight is in your standing leg. This hand is here for balance, right? So most of your weight is in your foot and leg. Keep breathing. We're going to take that hand onto the hips, close the hips and shoulders, step back into our lunge position, and step back foot forward, hands onto your legs. Inhale halfway up, exhale in towards your legs. Beautiful. Good? All right. Now, the last thing I want to do at the wall, so you can use the wall or you can be in the center of the room. What I want you to do, I'm trying to think where everybody can see me still. So holding on to the bar or the wall or having your arms out in the center of the room, we're going to cross the right leg over the top of the knee, and you're going to sit like you're sitting into a chair. And you're not forcing it, right? So you're just finding your balance and your breath, and then possibly taking your hands off the bar and bringing them to your heart center. Right? Don't force it. Keep that top foot flexed. Use the bar as needed. And then very carefully stand on up. We'll just go right into the second side. So cross the left ankle over top of the right knee. Sit down like you're sitting. And I like to use the mirrors here because you can see your hips. You can see if it kind of drops off to the side. And then if appropriate for today, take your hands to your heart center. Keep breathing. And in your own time, you're going to release that foot. And then those of you in the back, like you can put your hands onto the bar. We're going to come into a hanging chair. Those of you at home, you just come into a hanging chair, hanging squat, sorry. You can hold on to the wall or you can just come into a regular squat. Let your back round here. Round that back. So we're trying to stretch out the back body. Beautiful. And then let's come on up. Come back to your mats if you want to. Everybody feeling okay with that? Once you get back to your space, let's roll through those shoulders a couple of times. Just noticing how you're feeling. Now let's take that right arm and stretch it up and bend your elbow so your hand is reaching down your back body. And your feet, hip width apart. Let them be soft so that your knee can bend. We're going to reach over, you're sliding this hand down your leg as you're reaching that elbow over to the side. Don't let your elbow drop. And then come on up, and we're going to slide down, same side. Maybe, 2 or 3 more times, depending on how quickly your breath and your body move. And when you come up this next time, let's relax that arm, and then we'll lift up your left arm, bend the elbow, place the hand on your back body, and again, in your own time, moving as deeply as it feels good. Right? You want it to feel good. Moving with your breath. One more time. And then you come up. Again, you release that arm, roll through your shoulders. And then here, you might use a strap, or you might interlace your hands. So you, again, your feet are still hip width apart, your hands are, if you connect your hands and they don't move, your hands don't move away from your body, then I want you to use a strap so you get more movement. Because we're just gonna inhale those arms up, exhale back down. Don't let your body drop forward. So again, if there's no movement, use your strap so you get more movement, which means it gives you more space between your hands and you'll get more movement. Now next time the hands come down, we're gonna inhale, body up. Exhale, come forward, and then inhale, take your arms away from your back body. Your knees can be bent here. And you're just breathing and noticing how it feels in your shoulders. Keep breathing. And then on whenever an exhale comes, let's release those hands, press down with your feet. Inhale, come on up. Release those hands one last time, roll through those shoulders. I want you to take your feet maybe as wide as your mat. And so sometimes we do this with really wide legs, but I want you to explore today doing it with your feet not as wide. So we're going to take that right hand and place it on the outside of the left hip. And your left hand can be just hanging to the side or on your hip. We're going to inhale up and exhale, slide down that leg. Not necessarily going for depth here. I want you to see if you can stretch the back of your rib cage as we're doing that. So you're going to inhale up, exhale down. We're staying on the same side. Because I find if I go too far down, I lose that stretch of my back, and then it kind of moves more into the hips. Now, next time you come up, we're going to switch sides. Again, inhale up, exhale, slide down. We're going to do one more. And when you come up, we're going to come into a wide-legged squat, right? And so you might want to turn your toes out a little bit. Come on down. You might put a block under your butt or a blanket under your heels. Nice rounded back here. Chin towards the chest. Long, smooth breaths. And when you feel ready, so you might want to stay here a little bit longer. You're going to carefully get yourself down onto the ground. We're going to stretch out our legs, and if you like a little blanket under your hips, place one there. Now your legs are stretched out, and without using your hands, I want you to bring in your left foot. We're going to take the right hand down onto the ground, and I want you to bring your left elbow to the inside of that left knee. Okay? So I want you to start off by pressing knee into elbow, elbow into knee. Right? So you can feel what's happening behind your shoulder blade as you do that. Keep breathing. And then we're going to release that hand onto your straight leg and inhale up, exhale, slide down. If you find your knee flopping out to the side, just walk that foot out a little bit. Then we're gonna take your tricep, left tricep to left shin, and bend your elbow and point your palm up. And some of us, this might not work. And you can also use a strap between your hands here. We're gonna take that left hand and reach for the right hand and reach your head towards your knee. So I like this for opening the mid back and the shoulders, but don't force it because there's a greater potential for injury when we bind in poses, so don't go to your limit here, don't force it. Long, smooth breaths, paying attention to your breath. When you feel ready, we're going to release those hands. Bring up your body, stretch out that leg, hands onto your thighs. And we're going to inhale up, exhale, slide down. Just doing that a couple times, coming back to your center, breath. And then next time you're sitting up, again, without using your hands, I like the legs to like control themselves, right? We're gonna bring in that right foot. And again, you're gonna take that left hand down to the side. We're gonna take the elbow to the inside. So isometrically, elbow pressing into knee, knee pressing into elbow. And you're noticing, like for me, it feels much differently on this side. Last time I felt it behind my shoulder blade, now I feel it in my shoulder. Very interesting. Keep breathing. And not that any of you are going to feel the same thing, right? Because we're all a little bit different. You're still breathing. When you feel ready, we're going to release that hand onto the leg. Inhale, body up. Exhale, slide down. So again, next time that you're upright, we're going to take the tricep to the shin, bend the elbow, turn your palm up. So you're getting your body used to this sensation. This might be the pose for you. You might take that right hand, find your fingers, you might use a strap, connect your hands, and some of you might take your head towards that. Continue to breathe. When you feel complete, we're going to release those hands, lift your body up, straighten out that leg, hands onto your thighs, inhale, body up, exhale down. And when you come up, we are going to, and this is going to differ depending on your body. So we're going to use the blanket in this shape, Tadasana blanket, right? And roll it up. So you get a pretty decent sized roll. And like I said, if you start to lay down out here and it doesn't work for you, you're going to unroll it a little bit so that you have a smaller roll under your body. Okay? Now, it's going to be head and shoulders on the floor. And then the blanket, I'm going to run and grab a bolster. We have a bolster. Does anybody need one? Anybody need a bolster? Oh, everybody has one. All right, then this one is going to be for my knees, okay? And I might have to make adjustments in spacing once I get down onto the floor. So hips and shoulders are connected to the floor. Your blanket is horizontal, and you're gonna come on down. So it's like a rolling river. And like I said, some of you, this size roll may not work for your body. You might need to make it smaller.
in the right placement for your body. So head, shoulders, arms on the ground, hips on the ground, feet on the ground. And I have the roll of the blanket just at the bottom of my ribs and on the lower part of my rib cage. But you're gonna find that position that works for your body.
And again, you start to lay down, it's too much of a roll, you make the roll smaller. And we're gonna stay there for a moment and see if you can let your, you can do it without the roll, right? If the roll is too much, you're gonna take it, the idea is to relax here. So if your muscles are all tightening and you're cringing, it's not going to allow you that space to relax. Exactly. Because from here, so if you're really comfortable here, you're gonna stay here for a bit, and then we're gonna move right into Shavasana, right? So most likely you'll want to take out that roll when you go into Shavasana. You might keep the bolster under your knees. And as you settle in, letting your body become heavy, letting yourself be completely supported. Long, smooth, gentle breaths. And obviously, if you need to make some changes to help your body to be more comfortable, you're going to do that. Start to bring your awareness back to breath in your body. Notice how you're feeling, allowing yourself to gently reawaken. Your body needs to move in any particular way. Start to make those movements. And if you feel drawn to do your own breathing practice or a short focus practice after I end the class, I invite you to do that. So thank you all. Thank all of my teachers, people who this land that we reside on.